My family kicked me out when I got pregnant, but my baby made me a millionaire. I still remember the weight of the pregnancy test in my hands. 2 pink lines that changed everything. At 29, I thought James Blackwood, my boyfriend of 8 months, would be happy about our baby. I was wrong. James came from money. His family owned half the real estate in our town, while my family just pretended to be important. Mom and Dad Reynolds cared more about what people thought than actual feelings. They'd invited the Blackwoods to our annual spring barbecue, hoping to secure my place in their wealthy world. The day of the barbecue, my stomach churned with nerves. James had been distant lately, always too busy for dinner, canceling plans last minute. I hoped our baby would bring us closer. Our backyard sparkled with string lights. Mom had hired caterers, something we couldn't really afford. Dad showed off his new grill to James's father, who barely hid his boredom. My sister Heather was flirting with the catering staff while my brother Tim and his wife Susan bragged about their vacation to Aspen. When James arrived, he barely kissed my cheek before checking his phone again. "Is everything okay?" I whispered when I caught him alone. "Just busy," he mumbled, looking everywhere but at me. As Mom's apple pie was served, I knew it was time. My hands shook as I stood up. "I have something to tell everyone," I said, my voice unsteady. Every conversation stopped. All eyes turned to me. My parents, Tim and Susan, Heather and James's parents, Victoria and George Blackwood. James looked up from his phone, confused. "James and I are expecting a baby," I announced, touching my stomach. The silence lasted forever. Then James laughed, a cold sound that cut straight through me. "You're what?" He stood up, chair scraping loudly. "There's no way that's mine," my mother gasped. "Emma!" "James, what are you talking about?" I couldn't stop my voice from shaking. "We always used protection," he said loudly. "This is obviously some kind of trap." Heat flooded my face. "That's not true. You know that's not true." Victoria Blackwood, James's mother, narrowed her eyes at me. "James, let's go. Now." As they gathered their things, James whispered harshly, "Don't call me again. Don't try to pin this on me. We both know you've been seeing other guys." The lie stunned me silent. James had been my only relationship for over 2 years. After they left, my family pounced. "How could you embarrass us like this?" My father's face turned scarlet, the vein in his forehead pulsing. "Dad, I knew that boy was too good for you," my mother cut in, voice like ice. "But to try to trap him with a baby, disgusting, Emma. I didn't trap anyone. This was an accident, but it's our baby." My brother Tim shook his head. "Always desperate for attention, aren't you?" Only Heather stayed quiet, staring at her hands. That night, my father stormed into my room. "Pack your things," he ordered. "What?" "You heard me. You're not staying here, bringing shame to this family." "Dad, please. I have nowhere to go." "You should have thought about that before you got yourself pregnant." My mother stood in the doorway, arms crossed. "We raised you better than this." "Better than what? Getting pregnant or getting abandoned?" Tears streamed down my face. "Don't raise your voice in my house," my father warned. They gave me 1 hour to pack. I took what I could: clothes, laptop, emergency cash, and a photo of my grandmother, the only person who would have stood by me. At midnight, I loaded my old Honda Civic while my family watched from the doorway. No one said goodbye. As I backed out of the driveway, I saw Heather in her window, but she turned away when our eyes met. I drove to James's apartment, desperate and scared. The doorman wouldn't let me up. James finally texted, "My lawyer will contact you. Stop harassing me or I'll get a restraining order." That first night, I parked behind a mall and curled up in my reclined front seat. My body shook with silent sobs as reality hit me. I was pregnant, homeless, and completely alone. For the next few days, I washed up in gas station bathrooms and called every friend I thought might help. They all made excuses. I realized how isolated I'd become while dating James. He'd never liked my friends, always preferring I spend time with him instead. 3 days later, it started raining. I'd been living in my car, using my gym membership to shower. My savings disappeared quickly on food and gas to keep warm. The rain hammered my roof as night fell. I shivered in my thin jacket, wrapped in a damp blanket from my old bedroom. "It's okay, baby," I whispered, touching my stomach. "And I'll figure something out. I promise I won't let anything happen to you." My voice cracked. "It's just you and me now, but we'll make it." Lightning flashed, showing the empty parking lot I'd found behind an old strip mall. Never had I felt such crushing loneliness. "I'll find us a place to live. I'll get a better job." The words sounded hollow as rain leaked through my car's old sunroof, soaking my last clean blanket. Knocking on my window jolted me awake. Sunlight streamed into my car, momentarily confusing me before reality crashed back. 1 week homeless, 1 week pregnant, 1 week abandoned. An elderly woman peered through the glass, concern etched on her weathered face. Gray hair in a neat bun, flour dusting her apron. Her eyes held kindness, but also something else, understanding. I rolled down my window, embarrassed. "I'm sorry, I'll move my car." "Are you all right, dear?" Her voice carried a slight accent I couldn't place. "I'm fine," I lied, trying to smooth my unwashed hair and hide how desperate I truly felt. She studied me, then pointed to a small storefront behind us. "I've seen your car here 3 mornings in a row. Have you been sleeping here?" I couldn't answer, shame tightening my throat. "I'm Martha," she said. "I own Sweet Dreams Bakery. Would you like some breakfast? No strings attached." My stomach growled loudly at the mention of food. I'd been rationing my money, eating once a day at the cheapest places I could find. Something about her made me trust her. I nodded and followed Martha into a cozy bakery filled with the aroma of fresh bread and cinnamon. The warmth wrapped around me, making me realize how cold I'd been. "Sit," she instructed, pointing to a small table before disappearing behind the counter. The bakery was empty of customers, but full of character. Mismatched chairs, shelves of cookbooks, black and white photos showing the building decades earlier. Martha returned with a steaming mug of tea and a warm pastry. "Eat," she said simply. The first bite of cream cheese Danish brought tears to my eyes. "Thank you," I whispered. Martha sat across from me, her hands wrapped around her own mug. "Now," she said, "what's your name? And why is a young woman sleeping in her car?" I hesitated. "I'm Emma. I'm just going through a rough patch." She didn't look convinced. "A rough patch that leaves you homeless?" I don't know why I told her everything. About James, my family, the baby. The words tumbled out between bites and sips. Martha didn't interrupt, just nodded occasionally. When I finished, she asked, "How far along are you?" "About 8 weeks," I said, hand resting on my stomach. Martha nodded. "I have a proposition for you, Emma. I need help in the bakery. Morning shifts, 5 days a week. There's a small room upstairs, nothing fancy, but it's clean and dry. It's yours in exchange for work, if you want it." I stared at her. "Why would you help me? You don't know me." Martha's eyes softened. 50 years ago, I was you. Different circumstances, same situation, young, pregnant, nowhere to go. She gestured around the bakery. "Someone gave me a chance. Now I'm giving you one." "I don't know anything about baking," I admitted. "Can you read a recipe, follow instructions, work hard?" When I nodded, she stood up. "That's all I need. You can start tomorrow. For now, let me show you where you'll stay." That afternoon, Martha showed me the room above the bakery. It was tiny, just enough space for a twin bed, small dresser, and chair. But it had a window with morning sun and a bathroom down the hall. After a week in my car, it looked like heaven. "It's perfect," I whispered, touching the clean sheets. "I don't know how to thank you." "Learn to bake," Martha said simply. "That's thanks enough." And I did learn. Each morning at 4 a.m., Martha taught me her craft. How to tell when dough needed more flour by touch, not measurement. How to hear when bread was perfectly baked by the sound it made when tapped. My hands grew stronger, more confident. At first, I dropped trays and burned muffins. But Martha never lost patience. "Baking forgives mistakes," she'd say. "We start again." As my belly grew, so did my skills. Customers began asking for my cinnamon rolls specifically. I created lemon blueberry scones that sold out every morning. For the first time in weeks, I felt proud of something. "You have a gift," Martha told me one day as we prepared dough. "You understand food in your heart, not just your head." As weeks turned into months, the bakery became home. Martha took me to doctor's appointments, helped me apply for pregnancy Medicaid when my savings ran out. She found maternity clothes at thrift stores, insisting I needed to dress like a professional baker, not a refugee. One night after closing, Martha and I sat drinking tea. I was nearly 5 months pregnant by then, my future still uncertain but not as terrifying. "Did you ever tell him? The father of your baby?" I asked. Martha was quiet for a moment, fingers tracing her cup's rim. His name was Robert. When I told him, he said he wasn't ready. His family sent money to take care of it and disappear. She gazed out the window. I took the money, but kept my baby. This bakery started with that money. What happened to your child? A smile touched her lips. Michael owns a restaurant in Chicago now. 3 kids of his own. He calls every Sunday. Her eyes met mine. We struggled, but we made it. Do you regret it? Keeping the baby? Not for a single minute. She squeezed my hand. Life isn't a straight line, Emma. Sometimes the hardest turns lead to the best destinations. That night, I felt my baby move for the first time. A gentle flutter inside me. I placed my hand on my growing bump. "We're going to be okay," I whispered. This time, I actually believed it. Labor started 2 weeks early. I'd been icing cinnamon rolls when pain sliced through me, stealing my breath. "Martha," I gasped, clutching the counter. "Something's wrong." She took one look at my face and grabbed her keys. "Hospital. Now." The next 12 hours blurred into a nightmare of pain and fear. My blood pressure plummeted. Monitors beeped warnings. I caught fragments of conversation, fetal distress, and emergency intervention. "Stay with us, Emma," a nurse urged as darkness crept into my vision. I thought about James and my family, how no one was waiting to hear if I lived or died. Only Martha remained, squeezing my hand, refusing to leave. "Fight, Emma," she whispered fiercely. "Your baby needs you." At one point, I heard a doctor say, "We might lose them both." The words floated above me like they were about someone else. "No," Martha's voice cut through my fog. "She's stronger than you know." After what felt like forever, a cry pierced the haze, strong and defiant. "It's a girl," someone announced. They placed her on my chest, this tiny person with a shock of dark hair. When she opened her eyes, the delivery room went silent. "That's remarkable," the doctor murmured. My daughter's eyes were mismatched, one deep blue like a summer sky, one warm amber brown like honey in sunlight. Heterochromia, they called it. Rare and striking. "She's perfect," Martha said, tears streaming down her face. "I named her Lily, after my grandmother. the only person in my family who always believed in me. Recovery came slowly. I'd lost so much blood during delivery. Martha closed the bakery for a week to help us. She brought homemade soup to the hospital, argued with nurses when they weren't checking on me enough, and held Lily when I was too weak. When we returned to the bakery, I worked with Lily strapped to my chest, mixing dough one-handed while humming lullabies. It wasn't easy. Exhaustion and pain were constant companions. Some nights I cried from fatigue, wondering if I could really do this alone. But when Lily looked at me with those extraordinary eyes, one blue, one brown, I found strength I didn't know I had. Customers were captivated by her. "Such unusual eyes," they'd exclaim. "I've never seen a baby with two different colored eyes before." "She's marked for greatness," an elderly regular told me. "Children born with such gifts are destined for special things." Lily became our unofficial mascot. She rarely fussed, content to observe the world from her bassinet behind the counter. Her mismatched gaze followed everything. Hands kneading dough, steam rising from fresh bread, light dancing through windows. When Lily was 3 months old, a young woman entered the bakery just before closing. She ordered coffee and sat watching us clean up. "I hope this isn't weird," she finally said, "but I've been admiring your baby. I'm Sophia Chen, a photographer." She slid a business card across the counter. "Your daughter has the most photogenic face I've ever seen. Would you consider letting me photograph her for my portfolio? I'd give you copies, of course." I hesitated. After everything with James and my family, I'd become protective of Lily. "I don't know." "It's okay to say no," Sophia assured me. "But I'm trying to build my business, and unique subjects help me stand out. Your daughter is..." She paused, searching for the right word. "Captivating." Martha nudged me. "You should do it, Emma. What's the harm?" Sophia showed me previous work on her phone. Families, children, seniors, all captured with warmth and dignity. "Okay," I agreed. "But I'll be with her the entire time." The following Sunday, Sophia came to the bakery after hours with simple backdrops and lighting equipment. To my surprise, Lily loved the camera, giggling and gazing with her dual-colored eyes. "She's a natural," Sophia said, showing me preview shots. "These will be stunning." As she photographed Lily, Sophia shared her story, quitting her corporate job to pursue photography, struggling to build clients. "Sometimes I think I made a huge mistake," she admitted. "My parents think I've lost my mind." "I understand risks," I said, thinking of my own journey. 2 weeks later, Sophia returned with Lily's portfolio. My breath caught when I saw the images. My daughter captured in moments of wonder and joy, her mismatched eyes telling different stories from the same face. "These are incredible," I whispered, tears welling up. One photo moved me deeply. Lily looking directly at camera, her blue eye catching light, her brown eye in shadow, creating an almost magical effect. "I posted a few on my professional Instagram," Sophia admitted. "I hope that's okay. People are fascinated by her." She showed me her phone, hundreds of likes, dozens of comments about the baby with enchanted eyes. Several professional photographers had praised Sophia's technique and unique subject. "And this could be something," Sophia said carefully, "if you're interested." I looked at Martha, who nodded encouragingly. "What did you have in mind?" I asked. 3 days after Sophia posted Lily's photos, an unknown number called my phone. "Is this Emma Reynolds, mother of the baby with the unique eyes?" a professional-sounding woman asked. My heart skipped. "Yes. Who's calling?" "Jasmine Wilson from Little Treasures Baby Clothing. We saw your daughter's photos on Sophia Chen's page and would like to discuss an opportunity." My hand trembled. Little Treasures was a national brand I'd seen in department stores. "We're impressed with your daughter's distinctive look," Jasmine continued. "We're shooting our spring campaign next week and would like her to be part of it." I've never done modeling before, I said hesitantly. That's fine. We work with new faces all the time. We're prepared to offer $2,000 for a one-day shoot. The amount stunned me. $2,000 was more than a month's bakery wages. Can I think about it? I asked, trying to sound composed. Of course. Call me back by tomorrow. After hanging up, I paced my tiny room while Lily napped. Was this legitimate? Was I exploiting my daughter? What if this was a mistake? It sounds like a wonderful opportunity, Martha said when I told her. But what does your instinct tell you? I'm scared, I admitted. What if I'm making the wrong choice for Lily? Martha put down her rolling pin. Life rarely offers perfect choices, Emma. Ask questions. Trust your gut. That night, I researched baby modeling, working conditions, permits, expectations. By morning, I'd made my decision. I called Jasmine back and surprised myself by negotiating. Sophia should be the photographer, I insisted. And I want rights to the images for Lily's future. We don't usually... Those are my terms, I said firmly. Just months ago, I couldn't stand up to anyone. Now I was negotiating with a national brand. After some discussion, they agreed. The shoot took place in a downtown studio. Lily wore tiny cardigans and delicate dresses, captivating everyone with her mismatched eyes and natural smile. She's remarkable, the creative director told me. So expressive for her age. Sophia worked confidently with her camera. You're doing great, Mama, she whispered during a break. Keep standing up for your daughter. By day's end, even the lighting technicians were showing me photos of their children. One stylist gave me her card. For future work, she winked. When the check arrived, I couldn't believe it was real. Martha helped me open Lily's first bank account, insisting half the money go into savings. This is just the beginning, she said. You need to learn money management. She taught me about budgeting, saving, and investing, knowledge her late husband had shared with her. Financial independence is freedom, she insisted, especially for women. She was right. 2 weeks later, Little Treasures called again. The photos had performed exceptionally well online. We want to offer a 6-month contract, Jasmine said. $3,500 per month. I sat down, lightheaded. That amount would change our lives completely. This time, I consulted a lawyer before signing anything, Martha's advice. Never sign what you don't fully understand, she'd warned. The lawyer suggested changes protecting Lily's image rights and limiting working hours. To my surprise, Little Treasures accepted all our terms. They recognize something special in your daughter, the lawyer explained. And that gives you leverage. Within weeks, our lives transformed. I could afford an apartment, though Martha insisted we stay. Save first, she advised. Build security. One evening, while reviewing our budget, Martha brought tea and fresh scones. You know, she said, watching Lily play, you have a natural business sense, Emma. I looked up, surprised. I do. The way you handled that contract, how you're planning financially. You remind me of myself. She sipped her tea thoughtfully. Have you considered what comes next? Next? With Lily's modeling income, we finally had breathing room. Life has opened one door, Martha said, but it's up to you to see what other doors are waiting to be discovered. Her words stayed with me. The next day, I watched a mother struggle to feed her fussy baby while juggling coffee. The baby rejected store-bought food, spitting it onto the floor. I'm so sorry, the mother said, embarrassed. I remembered my experiments making food for Lily. Simple purees with bakery ingredients. Martha had taught me to preserve foods naturally, without chemicals. Try this, I offered, giving her some homemade applesauce with cinnamon. The baby devoured it. What is this? The mother asked, amazed. Where did you get it? I made it myself, I admitted. "You should sell this," she said earnestly. "I'd buy it by the case." That night, watching Lily sleep, I marveled at how much had changed in 6 months, from sleeping in a rain-soaked car to having savings, from being abandoned to finding family in Martha and Sophia. I brushed my fingers against Lily's cheek, her unique eyes closed in peaceful dreams. "Thank you," I whispered, "and for giving me courage when I had none left." In that quiet moment, an idea began forming, something combining Martha's wisdom, my new business instincts, and what I saw other mothers needed. I didn't know what the future held, but for the first time since those 2 pink lines appeared on the pregnancy test, I felt true hope growing inside me, as real and precious as the baby who had changed everything. The idea wouldn't leave me alone. I watched mothers struggle with baby food jars, complaining about ingredients they couldn't pronounce. Meanwhile, I'd been making Lily's food from scratch using techniques Martha taught me. "You're onto something," Martha said when I shared my thoughts. "Commercial baby food is overprocessed and bland. Yours tastes like real food." I spent nights experimenting in the bakery kitchen after hours. Using Martha's preservation methods, the same ones that kept her pastries fresh without chemicals, I created purees that maintained flavor and nutrition. "Try this one," I said, offering Martha a spoonful of sweet potato with cinnamon and nutmeg. Her eyes widened. "I'd eat this myself. Have you written down the recipe?" Within weeks, I had 12 different formulations. Martha helped refine each one, adjusting seasoning and texture. "We need proper packaging," she pointed out. "Glass jars, not plastic. And labels that emphasize bakery fresh." "We?" I asked, surprised. Martha smiled. "I'm too old to start over, but not too old to invest in a good idea. I'll put up the startup money as your partner, if you want one." I hugged her tight. "I couldn't do this without you." We named the line Lily's Kitchen, small batch, organic baby food made with bakery techniques. I designed labels featuring Lily's distinctive eyes as our logo. "Now we need to get this in stores," Martha said. That's when Sophia's connections proved invaluable. She'd photographed for a local upscale grocery chain's advertisements. "Their marketing director loves supporting local businesses," she told me. "I can arrange a meeting." The meeting was set for Tuesday morning. Monday night, I couldn't sleep. "What if they hate it?" I asked Martha. "What if this is all a waste of time?" "Then we try somewhere else," she said simply. "Failure isn't permanent unless you quit." The marketing director, a no-nonsense woman named Patricia, tried each sample methodically. "The flavor profiles are sophisticated," she noted. "But will babies actually eat this?" I pulled out my phone. "This is Lily trying the apple cinnamon for the first time." The video showed Lily's excited reaction, her mismatched eyes wide with delight as she banged her high chair tray for more. Patricia laughed. "Point taken. We'll start with a trial run. 3 of your flavors, 20 jars each. If they sell well, we'll talk larger orders." We celebrated that night with sparkling cider. "To Lily's Kitchen," Martha toasted. "From your kitchen to theirs." The first batch sold out in 2 days. "We need more production capacity," Martha said as we frantically prepared another batch, "and proper commercial equipment." We transformed the bakery's back room into a small production facility, investing Lily's modeling money into commercial sterilizers and proper jarring equipment. 3 months later, our baby food line was in 12 stores across the city. I hired 2 part-time helpers from the culinary school. Between Lily's modeling, the bakery, and our growing baby food business, we were stretched thin but thriving. Then came the order that changed everything. A large health-focused supermarket chain wanted Lily's Kitchen in all 30 regional locations. "This is it," Martha said. The big break we've been waiting for." That same week, we received an unusual order through our new website, a request for every flavor we made, to be delivered to an address in the wealthiest neighborhood in town. "Probably some celebrity mom," Sophia joked as she helped pack the order. I delivered it personally, partly curiosity, partly because I still handled our high-end clientele myself. The mansion's housekeeper accepted the delivery without comment. A week later, the same order came in again. This time, when I arrived, the front door opened to reveal Victoria Blackwood. My heart nearly stopped. James's mother looked exactly the same. Elegant, cold, calculating. "I thought it might be you," she said, examining me closely. The name of the company, the unusual eyes on the label. Very clever branding. "Thank you for your order," I managed, trying to keep my voice steady. "And will there be anything else?" "My granddaughter likes your peach puree best," she said casually, as though detonating a bomb. "Though the sweet potato is also quite good." I nearly dropped the box. "I don't know what you're talking about." Victoria's smile never reached her eyes. Those heterochromatic eyes are quite distinctive. They run in our family. You know, my father had them. James's cousin has them. She stepped closer. "We should talk, Emma. I believe we have matters to discuss." Lily turned 2 the week Victoria Blackwood reappeared in our lives. We celebrated at the bakery with a small party, Martha, Sophia, and the handful of employees who'd become our extended family. "Mama, look." Lily held up a drawing, scribbles that supposedly represented our family. Her dual-colored eyes sparkled with pride. "It's beautiful, sweetheart," I said, tucking it safely away. "We'll hang it in your room." Our lives had transformed completely. Lily's kitchen was now in 50 stores across 3 states. Our commercial kitchen operated separately from the bakery, with 15 employees. The modeling contracts continued occasionally, though I limited them to prevent Lily from becoming overtired. We'd moved to a comfortable 3-bedroom apartment near the bakery. Nothing fancy, but worlds away from my days of homelessness. I'd successfully avoided Victoria since our first encounter, having assistants handle deliveries to her address. But she was persistent, sending emails requesting meetings I ignored. Then she appeared at the bakery one Tuesday morning. "I need to speak with you," she said, ignoring the line of customers. "About my granddaughter." Martha stepped forward. "This isn't the place." "It's okay," I told Martha quietly. "Can you watch Lily upstairs?" In my small office, Victoria declined coffee. "I've been patient, Emma. More patient than most would be in my position." "What position is that exactly?" "A grandmother denied access to her grandchild." I laughed bitterly. "Denied? You and your son threw me away like garbage when I was pregnant. James denied Lily was even his." "James made mistakes," she conceded. "But blood is blood. Lily is a Blackwood." "Lily is a Reynolds," I corrected. "My daughter. Nothing more." Victoria opened her designer purse and removed a check. $1 million. In exchange, you acknowledge James as Lily's father privately, but make no public claims. You'll receive annual payments for her education. We can arrange occasional visits, supervised, of course. I stared at the check. $1 million. Financial security forever. "Get out," I whispered. "Don't be foolish." Victoria frowned. "Consider Lily's future." "I am." I stood up. "She deserves better than people who only want her when it's convenient. People who abandoned her mother when she needed help most." Victoria's expression hardened. "James is prepared to challenge custody if necessary." "On what grounds?" "He's never even met her. He denied her existence. Money buys excellent lawyers, Emma. Think carefully before rejecting our offer." After she left, I sat shaking in my office until Martha found me. "What happened?" she asked, concerned. I told her everything. Should I take the money for Lily's sake? Martha's expression darkened. "Blood doesn't make family. Love does. We've built something beautiful here. Don't let fear make your decisions." That night, as I tucked Lily into bed, I studied her mismatched eyes. One Blackwood blue, one Reynolds brown. She was both of us, yet entirely her own person. "Love you, Mama," she murmured sleepily. "Love you more," I whispered, making my decision. 2 days later, Martha collapsed while making bread. 1 minute she was kneading dough, the next crumpled on the floor, face ashen. "Call 911!" I screamed, rushing to her side. The ambulance took forever. I held her hand, terrified. "Stay with me, Martha, please." "So dramatic," she whispered weakly. "Just tired, that's all." The hospital diagnosed a minor heart attack. "She needs rest," the doctor advised, "and less stress." I stayed by her bedside all night. When she woke the next morning, her first words were about the bakery. "Did you pull the last batch of sourdough out?" she asked groggily. "The bakery's fine," I assured her. "Focus on getting better." She gripped my hand with surprising strength. "Emma, I need to tell you something. I've been meaning to for months." "What is it?" "I'm leaving you the bakery. Already changed my will. Michael agrees. He doesn't want it." Tears filled my eyes. "Martha, you're going to be fine." "Of course I am," she scoffed. "But I'm also 80 years old next month, not immortal." She recovered slowly. During her hospital stay, I managed both businesses while caring for Lily. Exhaustion became my constant companion. Then another shock. My sister Heather appeared at the bakery. "Emma," she stood awkwardly by the counter. "You look good." I hadn't seen her in nearly 3 years. "What are you doing here?" "Mom and Dad saw an article about your baby food company. We want to reconnect." Anger surged through me. "Reconnect? You kicked me out when I had nothing." "We made mistakes," she admitted. "But we're family. We've always supported you in our hearts." "In your hearts?" I laughed incredulously. "Where were your hearts when I was sleeping in my car? When I nearly died giving birth? When Lily took her first steps?" "Please, Emma. Mom and Dad want to meet Lily. They're her grandparents." "No," I said firmly. "They're strangers who happen to share DNA. That doesn't make them family." After Heather left, I called my lawyer. Between Victoria's threats and my family's sudden reappearance, I needed to protect Lily and our business. "Get ready," he advised. "This is going to get messy." My lawyer filed for a formal paternity test. "If the Blackwoods want to claim Lily, let's make it official," he explained. "And with legal responsibility comes child support backdated to birth." Victoria's reaction was swift, a barrage of legal threats. James finally emerged from the shadows, his lawyer proposing increased settlement money in exchange for dropping the paternity test. "They're scared," my lawyer observed. "Something doesn't add up." We pressed forward. The court ordered the test, which James delayed repeatedly through legal maneuvers. Meanwhile, my parents began a campaign of their own, telling extended family they'd been supporting me all along and were so proud of my success. Martha, now recovered enough to work part-time, was furious. The audacity. Where were they when you needed diapers? When you worked 18-hour days to build this company? One rainy Tuesday, Sophia burst into my office. "You need to see this," she said, sliding her laptop in front of me. The screen showed a financial news website, Blackwood Properties under federal investigation for investor fraud. "James is being investigated for running a Ponzi scheme," Sophia explained. "He's been misappropriating investor funds for years." Suddenly, everything made sense. Victoria's desperation to settle quietly, James's reluctance to establish paternity. A fraud investigation would include his financial records, child support obligations, and any hidden assets. My lawyer called that afternoon. The Blackwoods' attorney is requesting an emergency meeting. At the meeting, James looked nothing like the confident man I'd once loved. Haggard and pale, he barely met my eyes. "My client is prepared to acknowledge paternity," his lawyer began. And my client now wants full financial disclosure before any agreement, my lawyer countered. Given recent developments, Victoria's face tightened. This is blackmail. No, I said calmly. This is accountability. 2 days later, my parents made their move. They arrived at Lily's Kitchen's production facility while I was in meetings, claiming they were investing in their daughter's business and demanding to see financial records. My operations manager, suspicious, called me immediately. They said they're your parents and major investors, she explained. They wanted copies of our financial statements and business plan. I rushed back to find my father attempting to charm my assistant into giving him access to my office. Dad, I said coldly, this is private property. You need to leave. We just want to help, my mother insisted, her eyes darting around the facility. We're so proud of what you've built. You're trespassing, I replied. Need leave now, or I'll call security. Later, my lawyer confirmed my suspicions. Your father's business is failing. He's facing bankruptcy. They're looking for a lifeline. The final pieces fell into place. My family's sudden interest, their claims of having always supported me. They wanted financial rescue, not reconciliation. That night, I called Martha. I need your wisdom, I admitted. You already know what to do, she answered. You're stronger than all of them combined. She was right. The next morning, I made 2 calls, one to the FBI agents investigating James, offering information about his attempts to hide assets, and another to a security company to protect our business records. The following weeks brought chaos. James was arrested on multiple fraud charges. My parents' business collapsed when their own financial misconduct was exposed during their bankruptcy proceedings. And through it all, Lily's Kitchen continued to grow. A major distribution deal put our products in stores nationwide. Martha recovered fully, becoming our quality ambassador, her face on special heritage product lines. Sophia's documentary about our journey, Different Eyes, premiered at a local film festival. The story of a homeless pregnant woman building a multimillion-dollar company touched hearts and opened doors. This isn't just about baby food, one reviewer wrote. It's about seeing the world through different eyes, finding opportunity where others see only obstacles. After the premiere, we celebrated at the bakery. To seeing differently, Martha toasted, raising her glass toward Lily, whose unique eyes had started our extraordinary journey. 5 years later, I stood in the foyer of my new home, a sprawling estate ironically located 3 doors down from the Blackwood mansion where James had grown up. Life had a strange sense of humor. Mommy, can I show Grandma Martha my treehouse? 7-year-old Lily tugged my hand, her mismatched eyes bright with excitement. After lunch, sweetheart. She just arrived. Martha entered, still spry at 84. This place gets bigger every time I visit, she remarked, hugging me tightly. You could join us, I reminded her. The guest house is yours whenever you want it. Bah, I'm perfectly happy in my apartment above the bakery. Some of us don't need marble floors. Martha had refused to move from her beloved bakery apartment, though she finally accepted full-time help running the place. She visited weekly, helping Lily with baking projects and offering business advice I still treasured. Lily's Kitchen had become a household name, expanding into international markets with over 200 products. The company, valued at over $80 million, employed nearly 300 people, many of them single mothers I'd made a point of hiring. Sophia joined us for lunch, her camera never far away. Her documentary had launched her career. She now produced a popular series showcasing female entrepreneurs. Have you seen the news? She asked, passing her phone across the table. The headline read, James Blackwood, sentenced to additional 5 years for financial crimes. I passed the phone back without comment. James's downfall had been swift and complete. The man who'd once denied his daughter was serving a 15-year sentence, his empire dismantled, his reputation destroyed. Victoria had taken a different path. After James's conviction, She'd undergone a transformation of sorts. She'd publicly apologized for her role in covering up his crimes and for her treatment of me years earlier. "I was protecting my son at the expense of my granddaughter," she'd said in a televised interview. "It was the greatest mistake of my life." She now volunteered at a shelter for pregnant women, funded largely by the foundation I'd established. We maintained a careful, distant relationship. She saw Lily occasionally, always under my supervision. My own family had faced their reckoning too. My parents' business collapsed amid scandal. They'd lost their house, their social standing, everything they'd valued above their daughter. They occasionally sent cards to Lily, which I allowed. Some wounds were too deep for full healing, but I'd found peace in setting boundaries. "The bakery renovations are almost complete," Martha announced, changing the subject. "The grand reopening is next month." The original Sweet Dreams Bakery, where I'd once slept in a tiny room, pregnant and afraid, had been transformed into the flagship store of my company. We'd preserved its character while expanding into the surrounding buildings. "I've been thinking," I said, refilling Martha's tea. "We should name it after you. Martha's Sweet Dreams. Without you, none of this would exist." Martha waved away my suggestion. "Nonsense. It's your company now." "Our company," I corrected. "You were my first investor, my first believer." Later that afternoon, we visited the renovated bakery. Lily ran ahead, exploring familiar corners made new again. "Remember when I found you sleeping in your car?" Martha asked quietly. "Every day," I replied, squeezing her hand. "Best thing that ever happened to me." "No," she corrected gently. "You made this happen, Emma. You took every hardship and transformed it into strength." I gazed around the space that had saved me, now the heart of an empire built on necessity, determination, and love. "Life doesn't follow straight lines," I quoted her words from years ago. "And thank goodness for that," Martha smiled. "The winding roads lead to the most beautiful destinations." Lily came running back, a blueprint in hand. "Mom, they forgot to put our special thing in the plans." "What special thing?" Sophia asked, camera ready. Lily grinned, revealing the gap where her front teeth had been. "The memory wall. For all the people who helped us when we had nothing, so we never forget." My heart swelled with pride. Despite our success, I'd raised a daughter who understood what mattered most. Not the mansion or the money, but the journey and the hands that had helped along the way. "That's my girl," I whispered, brushing her hair from her face, gazing into those extraordinary eyes that had changed everything. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of triumph over hardship. Has someone ever believed in you when no one else would? I'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to share with someone who needs inspiration today, and check out the next video appearing on your screen now. Together, we'll keep finding beauty in life's unexpected turns.